Scag owners will tell you theirs is the only one that survives real work. Exmark owners will tell you theirs is the only one that actually cuts. And Kubota owners just sit back and let the other two argue. So before you drop 15 grand on any of them, I did what almost nobody does first. I found the guys with 2, 3, even 5,000 hours already on the clock. I read their repair tickets. I dug through the threads where they've been fighting about this for years. And here's what I found. None of them are wrong. They're just describing 3 different lawns, 3 different climates, 3 different ways of running a business. These machines were built to win in completely different conditions. Pick the wrong one, and the best mower on paper becomes the one fighting you every week. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which one is yours. Forget horsepower for a second. Forget the seat. The single biggest difference between these 3 machines is the steel hanging underneath them. And once you understand it, most of the arguing online suddenly makes sense. Exmark builds a tightly baffled, fully welded steel deck. It's basically a sealed wind tunnel. It processes clippings slowly, chops them fine, and packs serious lift into the blades. In dry, well-kept grass that translates into the cleanest finish in the business, with striping that looks painted on. Scag goes the complete opposite direction. The Velocity Plus deck runs thick stamped steel on top, heavy gauge skirts, and a discharge mouth roughly a third wider than Exmark's. It's not trying to baby the grass. It's trying to move as much of it through as fast as possible, no matter how thick or wet it is. Then there's Kubota, and this is where the argument actually gets interesting. The Z700 deck is 8 gauge, fully welded, 6 inches deep, with a baffle setup that sits right between the other 2. It's tighter than Scag's wide-open design, but nowhere near as sealed as Exmark's. Owners who've run all 3 describe it as a genuine hybrid, not quite as razor clean as an Exmark on a dry Tuesday afternoon, not quite as unbothered by soaked, knee-high grass as a Scag, but closer to both extremes than either one is to the other. Here's the part the brochures leave out. In dry, manicured lawns, Exmark still wins on pure finish. The second the grass gets wet, tall, or overgrown, it starts clumping, sometimes even from morning dew. Scag barely notices. It'll chew through soaked grass without slowing down. Kubota lands in the middle. It handles damp, thick grass noticeably better than Exmark, but higher hour owners still report the occasional clump in truly nasty conditions that would barely register on a Scag. So the real question was never which deck is best. It's what you actually cut. Dry, tight, weekly lawns, Exmark wins on looks. Wet, tall, every other week chaos, Scag is the tool. Mixed conditions where you want strong performance without fully committing to either extreme, Kubota is the compromise. A lot of owners are quietly happy with. You've heard the stereotypes 100 times. Scag is the tank, Exmark is the racehorse. Kubota is just reliable, in that quiet, unglamorous way most people never think twice about, and each label is mostly earned. Scag's deck steel really is thicker than the competition. The spindles run on cast iron with tapered roller bearings, and the company builds nearly every part in-house at a massive Wisconsin facility. It's been independent and American-built since 1983, and that independence shows up in how the machine is engineered. Nobody is cutting corners to satisfy a parent company's spreadsheet. Exmark tells a different story. Born out of a 7-person garage in Nebraska back in 1982, the brand was later bought by a larger corporation, but the manufacturing stayed put. Longtime owners will tell you their machines still comfortably run 2,000 to 3,000 hours, ride lighter than a Scag, cost less to service, and typically carry a better warranty on top of it. Then Kubota walks into this argument as something entirely different. It's not a niche turf brand that eventually got big. It's a global manufacturer that already builds some of the most trusted diesel engines and tractors on the planet, and it produces its Z-Series 0 turns at its own dedicated manufacturing campus in Georgia. That engineering pedigree shows up in the small details: sealed and greaseless spindle bearings, a thick tubular frame, hydraulic components sourced from the same commercial-grade suppliers Scag and Exmark already use. Plenty of owners describe Kubota's commercial machines as bulletproof, with some running a decade or more without a real issue. But here's the catch nobody in the Kubota crowd likes to admit. That reputation is less consistent than Scag's. Certain model years have documented problems, and a smaller but vocal group of owners has reported expensive drivetrain failures showing up far earlier than expected. So, yes, tougher steel is real, brand pedigree is real, but neither one is a guarantee. A thick deck doesn't fix a bad batch of spindle bolts, and a legendary engine reputation doesn't prevent a bad final drive. Reputation tells you the tendency. It doesn't tell you what's going to break on your machine specifically. This is where the title actually pays off, because what breaks after 1,000 hours matters more than anything printed on the price tag. On the Scag side, the high-hour reports are consistently solid. Owners crossing the 1,000-hour mark tend to land around $500 in out-of-warranty repairs. A belt here, a sheared bolt there, maybe an electrical gremlin taking out a PTO switch. Outside of that, it's mostly routine maintenance on a machine that's been earning its keep commercially for years. Exmark's complaints cluster somewhere else entirely. The most reported issue is electrical, seat safety sensors, and wiring gremlins that owners regularly cite as the most annoying and most expensive thing to chase down. Tires tend to wear faster than expected, and the PTO clutch is a known wear item somewhere around the 850 to 1,000 hour range. Kubota brakes differently again. The most repeated complaint on the commercial Z700 line is spindle hardware, blade bolts, and spindle retaining bolts stripping out under heavy use, along with the occasional hydraulic seep. There's also a smaller, louder group of owners reporting major failures, final drives, or wheel motors going out well inside the warranty period, which stings more given how strong Kubota's overall reputation usually is. So none of these three is bulletproof. They just fail on their own terms. And for perspective on how far these things can actually go, there are Scag Turf Tigers out there past 7,000 hours, Exmark lasers that got repowered around 1,200 hours and kept running past 2,000, Kubota diesels still going strong a decade in, with owners simply changing fluid and filters the whole way through. All three of these machines, taken care of properly, will outlast most of the people arguing about them online. If this kind of breakdown is actually useful to you, and you're the kind of person who researches something before spending $15,000 on it, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this one, instead of the usual dealer floor sales pitch dressed up as advice. If you're the type who researches something thoroughly before spending $15,000, subscribe. This channel breaks down the ownership reality on major equipment brands, not just the spec sheet. Now, moving on to where you can actually save yourself real money. Here's where you can genuinely save yourself thousands, and it applies across all three brands because they draw from the exact same short list of commercial engine suppliers. If you're planning to keep this machine for years, the advice from high-hour operators is almost unanimous. Spec the commercial grade engine tier, not the base one. On Kawasaki powered machines, available across Scag, Exmark, and Kubota's Z700X line. That means the FX series. You can spot it by the round, tractor-style air filter housing. Here's the lifespan reality nobody at the dealership spells out. The lighter homeowner-grade engines tend to tap out somewhere around 500 to 750 hours. The mid-grade tier stretches to roughly 1,000 to 1,200 hours. The commercial FX engine routinely pushes 1,500 to 1,800 hours and beyond, runs cooler, starts easier, and burns less fuel the whole way through. Same category of machine, wildly different engine lifespan depending on which box gets checked. Kohler shows up across all three brands too, most notably as Kubota's Command Pro option. Kohler's reputation is more divided than Kawasaki's. Some owners run a full decade without touching the thing. Others report carburetor, ignition, or oil consumption problems creeping in further down the line. And if you land on a Vanguard-powered unit, the older 37-horse version has a well-documented history of head gasket trouble that comes up again and again from high-hour owners. The newer 40-horse revision has a noticeably cleaner track record, for what that's worth. Underneath all three machines, the hydraulic architecture is basically the same idea executed three different ways. Separate pumps feeding separate wheel motors. Scag's Turf Tiger runs dual high displacement gear pumps with a drive shaft driven deck. Exmark uses a unitized Parker pump and motor setup. Kubota runs its own integrated Parker pump and motor units paired with a proprietary commercial transmission. None of these are realistically home rebuildable. Expect several $100s per side if one fails. The single habit that actually gets any of these three machines to 4,000 or 5,000 hours isn't a brand choice at all. It's changing your hydraulic fluid at half the interval the manual recommends. That's the real cheat code, regardless of which name is on the hood. Comfort splits three ways almost as cleanly as the decks do. Exmark generally delivers the most refined ride of the three, with better seat isolation and right side controls that feel intuitive from the first hour. Scag sits low with a go-kart feel, and left-hand controls some operators never fully warm up to. But that low center of gravity and wide 26-inch rear tires give it a grip on hillsides the other two simply can't match. The trade-off is weight, close to 1,500 pounds before you even add fuel, which means it can rut a soft, wet lawn if you're not careful. Kubota lands in the middle again, with a wider, more upright operator platform and a high-back adjustable seat that a surprising number of owners call the most comfortable of the three, even without a full suspension setup. On price, these three sit closer together than most people assume, but the entry points tell a different story. A flagship gas Scag Turf Tiger typically runs right around $15,000 fully equipped. A comparably spec'd Exmark Laser Z lands in that same mid-teens range. Kubota's Z700 series actually opens the door lower, with commercial models starting closer to $8,000 or $9,000 before options, and fully loaded EFI versions climbing into the $13,000 to $14,000 range. Kubota also tends to run more aggressive promotional financing and rebates than the other two, which can meaningfully change the real number you pay. Warranty is where the separation actually shows up, and it's worth paying attention to. Kubota backs its commercial Z700 line with 2 years and unlimited hours, no cap at all. Exmark generally offers a longer warranty window than Scag on its top-tier models. Scag's commercial coverage, by comparison, runs a shorter 2 years of parts and labor. So by the time you're standing in front of all three machines, the decision isn't really about which one is objectively better anymore. It's about which combination of price, comfort, and warranty actually matches how you plan to use it and for how long you plan to keep it. So here's the honest answer. Wet, tall, every other week overgrown lawns, buy the Scag. Manicured weekly grass where ride and warranty matter, buy the Exmark. Mixed conditions, a tighter budget, and you want unlimited hour peace of mind, buy the Kubota. But remember what every longtime operator across all three eventually agrees on. Blade choice and deck maintenance matter more than the color of the paint. And buy the dealer as much as you buy the mower, because that's who keeps you running when something breaks. Picking the brand was only half the battle. What nobody checks at the dealership comes next.